have a 31-year-old son named Eric who has autism. He's very impacted by his autism. And so he's low verbal, and I've learned a lot from my journey with Eric. So I try to share some of those experiences and knowledge, practical knowledge. I let my colleague introduce himself, and then we'll get going.
Okay. Before I say anything, I have a question for you. Has anyone seen our presentation before?
Raise your hand. Okay, so most of you have.
Okay, most of you have. Y'all are free to go. The rest of you, you're trapped with us.
Yeah.
No. So.
Yeah. So one more thing. So actually, I'm going to, because of that, I'm going to sort of, you'll see my slides. I might skip over some things because there's a lot we're going to try to cover in 1 hour, and I'm going to add something to it. One of the things I want to add is when we first started doing this training, how long have you been training with me? What year did you start with me?
Way too long. No, how long? No, it feels like
December of
2016.
16.
Yeah,
So we've been doing and working with
9
the
years,
University of Maryland
almost 9
system.
years, which is insane to think
Yeah.
about.
When we started the training, Tom was doing more of a Q&A, and he does a lot more content with us now.
Yeah.
But what I want to do is go back to that Q&A, because I think there's a lot of information from Tom's experience, not only with autism, but he can tell you a little bit more about his other medical issue. And we'll talk a little bit about how it's impacted his life. And just some other questions that a lot of people always ask, and we never get around to the Q&A part
No,
in
we
the
don't.
end, because it's only 1 hour, and we try
Yeah.
to cover too much stuff, so I thought I'd start here.
Yeah.
And I really encourage you, think about some questions you might want to ask an adult with autism who's been in and out of the hospitals and doctor's offices his whole life,
Yeah.
okay? So with that, I want to just start with a little interview, and we sort of have a little interview
Yeah.
sheet. So I'll ask Tom the questions, and he's going to respond. You want to stand, sit, whatever makes you
Whatever.
most comfortable.
And unless you want to open the floor first, it's up
Well,
to you.
because if we give them a sense of the kind of questions we ask,
Oh, yeah.
then they might have some questions they might want to ask.
Okay, yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Hey,
All right. All right, so
Let's do this.
I already said he's a self-advocate. He's been working with us for a while.
Yeah.
He is supported in a program through, I don't know if you ever heard of Itinerus. My son is also in Itinerus.
Was.
Oh, you're not. That's right. My son is with Itinerus still.
I've been out for 2 years. Time
That's
flies,
right. I'm
but-
sorry, but it
Yeah.
is what's it called, self-directed.
Yeah, I do
Okay.
self-directed.
He does self-directed. Okay,
Yeah.
so Tom, let's get started with the first question.
All right.
Is they already know you're a self-advocate and you have autism.
Yep.
Can you describe your other healthcare issues that they have an understanding of your background?
Yeah. As medical professionals or professionals in training, whatever you may be, you will think I'm extremely fascinating. That being said, stay away from me. I don't need any more hospital stays. And no, aside from my autism, I do have legit or real health issues. For one, my heart is regular and doesn't really function properly. I have what's known as TAPVR, total anomalous pulmonary venous return. What that means is I was born with a vein connecting to the wrong part of my heart. In addition to having a hole in my heart, I don't go to church anymore, but still holy. I've been in and out of hospitals for various reasons, mostly cardiac, my entire life. I'll be 35 next week, and I'm no stranger to hospital settings. Had full-on open heart surgery at the very tender age of 4 months, and according to my mom, I actually flatlined on the operating table, but was revived. So that whole YOLO thing that's been going around for way too long doesn't really apply to me. Life number 2 and counting.
All right, so due to your cardiac issues, you had a pacemaker installed in June of 2015. So that was just 2 days after your pacemaker surgery, though. You were rushed to the hospital for an unrelated medical emergency. Can you sort of share that?
Yes, this is like one of my, it sounds weird to say it like this, one of my favorite things to talk about because it's like free therapy to me. Well, not free because they pay me to talk about it.
That's right.
But yeah, I was at home on a couch in Baltimore City resting up from my pacemaker surgery. And it's a little thing, do you remember? About big events. You know, I was planning on going to see the original Jurassic World with my sister Abby, who ironically is now a nurse in Oakland, California. This was way before she knew what she was going to do with her life, but I got up to ask Abby if she's almost ready to leave because I thought, oh god, makeup are going to be late for the movies. So I got up a little too quickly. And it took a while to come to this realization. I think it was the combination of the pain meds I was on, of the drugs I was on legally for my pacemaker, and that bizarre dizzy, you know that feeling you get when you get too quickly, like, oh my god, I'm gonna fall? That combined with being in your little world on pain meds, again, legally, not the best combination in the world. I don't remember anything. I just remember for a split second, like, this isn't good, and just woke up on a hardwood floor, my arm backward, mangled. But yeah, 2 days after my pacemaker surgery, I was rushed via ambulance to Union Memorial Hospital for a broken arm.
Okay, so you went up to the hospital, right?
I did.
And you had to have surgery.
I did.
Yes.
Chicks take scars, so yeah.
That was serious, right?
Yeah. Not humorous, but yeah, that was a after x-ray my arm. You saw my arm after x-raying my arm. The doctor was like, Mr. Whalen, we don't know how to tell you this, but you broke your arm. No, really? What else is new? So when I fell, I shattered my funny bone, and it wasn't humorous. It hurt like hell. But even though I broke my funny bone, as you can probably tell, my sense of humor somehow remains intact.
And by the way, Tom does do comedy circuit, right? I know.
She loves bringing this up about me. But yeah. But the good news, the silver lining, apart from this wicked, awesome looking scar, they saved my tattoo, so there's a silver lining there.
That's always good. All right, so can you tell us more about the surgery, but as it relates specifically to anesthesia? Because I don't know if you're familiar with the fact that people with autism do have it's more challenging to get them to go under. So Tom has like this great story to tell about his experience.
Yeah, I wouldn't go right to great because every time I have to go under it doesn't happen often. When I do, it really kind of freaks me out just because of this little incident. I don't know. Bless you. I don't know if it's nerves, anxiety, or the fact that I have autism, or a combination of all three. But when I went in for surgery on my arm, they obviously want to put me under anesthesia they don't want me awake for this thing, so they put the mask over my face, and worst count backwards from 10 to 0, you'll be asleep by 1, 10, 9. It didn't work. I made it to 0, I was still conscious. Well, on cloud 9, in my own little world, not responsible for what I said, I can't remember, but yeah, it took 2 tries to fully put me out. I'm actually really proud of that little accomplishment of like beating the system, and please let it never happen again.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
So since you have had your share of healthcare interactions, can you tell the audience one thing that you want them to remember when they are interacting with someone with autism?
Trish and I wrote this script together. This is by far the hardest question that I go over with her, because it's so varied, person to person with autism, But for me, from my experience, all I can say is don't belittle me, Speak to me as you would any other patient, even though I happen to have a diagnosis of autism. One thing that really gets me going is my doctors now know not to do this, or if they do, it's just to mess with me. Look at my chart. Oh, so he has autism, so we should talk slower or louder. You know, don't belittle me. I have autism, sure, but I have intelligence and mostly functioning eardrums. I can hear you. I said mostly functioning. I gotta go to a lot of shows, but if I'm not deaf, I'll be 35 next week. If I'm not deaf, I'll be people yelling at me. By the time I'm 40, I'm lucky. So, but that's just me. Autism impacts people in a wide variety of ways. There's a reason they call it the autism spectrum, not the autism straight line. You know, no two people on the spectrum or any two people in general are exactly alike. Just keep this in mind when somebody comes into your office or hospital with autism. Your mileage may vary. So, now that Trish has hogged all the good questions,
There's other good ones.
I'm gonna open the floor. If nobody has any, we're gonna go on. But does anyone here have any questions? Yeah.
What are some blessings that have come out of your autism diagnosis from
What?
your perspective?
Some
Blessing.
blessings?
Or like
Positives.
good.
Oh, the positive things. This job for one. I'm not, no, I'm not. I've had some incredible opportunities just because of my autism, because of my diagnosis of autism. Trish alluded to this a second ago, but for 12 years I was in a program called Itinerus, which it was extremely small when I started. It was like 20 clients. Now
Just over 100.
it's over 100, like 12 years later. Yeah, I've had some incredible opportunities that I never would have gotten if I were just neurotypical or normal, you know? But I think, apart from my job, this one, I think the biggest blessing is just people accepting of it, you know what I mean? Like, my family, my job, my friends, everyone's been nothing but supportive, and if anyone's a jerk to me, they know who to call you. But yeah,
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Itinerus program and like what you all did?
Well, not medical, but okay. Towards the beginning, when I first joined, we are a very tight-knit community. Like I said, it was like 20 clients, and we had a steadfast support staff, you know what I mean? Like, we'd go on trips every Wednesday, or, you know, I don't know, we all just knew each other really well, and Itinerus is basically a program for adults, emphasis on the word adults.
With autism.
With autism,
It's one of the
yeah.
only ones out there that really just focus on that
Mhm.
disability.
Autism in adults.
Yeah.
That it was founded by parents, including former Oriole BJ Sarah Hall. How
Well,
cool.
he founded Pathfinders.
Oh yeah, but like his son goes to Itinerus. How cool is that? I work for a former Oriole. But anyway, I digress.
They do, if
They-
you don't mind, can I add?
Yeah,
something?
absolutely.
So in addition to doing community activities, socialization,
They do employment as well. Yeah.
So they'll work with someone to sort of help their skills. And just so you understand, you have, if the ones that, when you saw the last presentation, I think it was Neil, probably did the presentation, Neil Lichter. One of the things that we emphasize so much is the variety of individuals, how they're
Mhm.
impacted, right? So my son, I mentioned, was very impacted by autism.
Yeah.
Very low verbal, needs like 24/7 support, unlike Tom.
Yeah.
But they all go to Itinerus.
Yeah, I mean,
So they break it down and really try to create a program that best suits that person. but it always is about skill building, or what
Yeah.
does that person want?
That's like a trial and error kind of thing
Yeah.
with the employment too, because I had jobs throughout tennis before. I was like, I hate this job.
Right.
This is not one of them, you
But it's
know.
one to try, right?
Yeah,
You don't know
yeah,
if
yeah.
you're
Like I
gonna
had a
do it or not.
landscaping job throughout tennis. I'm like, why did you give me this? I hate this job. You know, but
Yeah.
I'm
But
not.
then you were able to try stuff.
Yeah,
So anyway, so it's a really good organization. They've been around quite
yeah.
a
Great
while.
organization.
But yeah, thanks, that's a good question.
I'm
Um,
glad I left them. Sorry.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What's something you wish more doctors knew about taking care of patients?
Oh. Well, doctors, I can't speak on that, but just in general, I wish that people understood that it's not like parents parents especially, you know, I'm not one, but I wish that people understood that autism, if you get a diagnosis of autism, it's not a death sentence, you know. Your life is going to be a little bit harder, sure, but from my perspective, it's not like, I swear to God, if I ever meet a doctor that goes, Mr. Whalen, I'm sorry you have autism, you have 24 hours to live, I'm just going to start laughing because, like, I'm sorry you have no idea what you're talking about. So, yeah, there are challenges, but medically, I think it's how you work through it that is the important thing.
I think some of the things that Tom was talking about earlier would be, you know, treating them, he's
As a person.
30, almost 35-year-old
Yeah,
man.
treat me as an everyday,
Because
treat me as
oftentimes
a
you'll
person,
have-
not as,
So with Eric, who's very low verbal,
Yeah.
31 years old, and they might go, hey, Eric. Talk
yeah,
to Eric like a man. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Talk to him as though he is a 31-year-old
Yeah.
man.
And that's
Now,
another,
yes.
I would say, I have support, sure, like my parents, especially my mom, goes to like a lot of like doctor's appointments with me, but they don't have to be in the room constantly. And even when they are, I can't speak for Eric or anyone else, but cut out the middleman, you know, if you have a question, I'm right here, you know, you can ask me, don't turn to my mom, for example, and go, so why is he, I can communicate, you know.
And so one of the things that we've done in the past, and we couldn't get Eric to come today, is one of the exercises that we do is Eric comes in, and you don't know that he's my son, and you're finding out his name. Just
Yeah,
that simple act,
That's a-
trying to find out what his name is. And everyone
that's a challenge,
just
right?
stares and you keep saying, what's your name? And he goes, what's your name?
Yeah.
What's your name? And he's spinning around and he's just looking and
Yeah,
And then if you have a name tag, he'll read your
Yeah.
name tag. And you say, oh, well, that's my name. You know what I mean? Like, he reads name tags. So if you ask him his name, he's going to read your name.
there was one
So,
exception,
Yeah,
but,
yeah, 1 second though. So the thing about Eric though is he hears you.
mhm,
He can communicate. Guess what? He just doesn't speak.
right,
What he does do is he can write. He can read your writing. And what happens is in that exercise is that someone finally figures out, I'm not guiding you. I'm not leading you. I'm asking you to think
Yeah.
creatively. How are you going to communicate with this person? Because 99% of the time I'm going to be with Eric or my husband will be with Eric.
Mhm.
But if he's by himself and you're trying to get information out and you presume because he can't talk to you and he's making these funny noises that he doesn't understand what's going on, I assure you, if you write down your question, and a lot of
Yeah.
individuals with autism might be low verbal, but they're very visual. Whether they can look at pictures or read words, they have the presumption of intellect, which
Yeah.
is one of the things that we
Yeah.
talk about, okay? So if you write, what is your name? Eric's going to answer you. He will either answer it using words, because he knows certain words,
yeah,
or he's going to write it down for you. Okay, so again, we go back to that whole idea of creativity and thinking about how you can best communicate with somebody, because it's not just one way.
yeah.
So I do want to ask a couple more questions, then we're going to
Oh,
go
yeah.
into some of the information here. And we're covering some similar information, but I really wanted you to have this opportunity
Yeah.
to talk to Tom. And here's an important question that oftentimes we get this question. I think it's really his insight's quite valuable,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So I like to ask Tom, to answer for the students, how old were you when you were diagnosed? So now think about this, how long ago that would have been, right? So you were
So
diagnosed at what age?
I was born in 1990.
Right.
I was diagnosed when I was 7 years old. I
7
had
years
no
old.
idea what it meant back then. Still trying to figure out at 35.
Right. But back then, how hard was it?
Ex-
Right?
Well, 80s, 90s, nobody knew what autism, well, they knew what it was, but I mean, through the media, how many of us have seen, like, Rain Man or the Alec Turtles video and, like,
With
assumed,
their picture of autism.
yeah, that's their definition of autism, but, yeah.
So, okay. All right, so with that, we're going to just move on, if
Yeah.
that's okay? All right.
We have one more thing. We had 99.9% of the time with Eric. He will
Okay.
not, like Trish said, Eric is extremely low verbal. Smartest guy I know, but I always feel guilty about saying this in front of Trish. He can't barely put two words together, but he is the smartest guy I know. So, I like to joke around, Eric is the easy part. All you have to do with Eric is get him to say his name. That's all you gotta do. 99.9% of the time it's a struggle. One time. We've only had this one time in my almost 10 years of training here. Eric has a type. I'm looking out, most of you are it. Eric, and I'm not one of them, but Eric, I'll give you a hint, it's women. Eric, this girl walks up and goes, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, what's your name?" Eric, without missing a beat, "I'm Eric, you're pretty." Like, damn it, now we gotta fire Eric. I think we let him off with a warning though, he's still employed with us.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
You wanted to ask that question.
Yeah, so most of you have seen this presentation before. Were there any specific, aha moments for you guys?
Do you remember the training? Was there anything in there that you remember?
Or have you blocked it out entirely?